government reform and energy independence and helping children with special needs, those are going to be at the top of the list. Let me tell you first, I'm going to help reform efforts that are so needed in Washington, D.C. John and I were the only candidates in this race with that track record of actually making change happen. And let me ask you a few questions. Let me ask you. Our opponent likes to point the finger of blame, but has he ever lifted a finger to help? Has he ever reached out a reformer's hand to the other side of the aisle in order to get others to say yes to change? Has he ever told his own party no? When it comes to reform, has he ever once said, "We did," instead of, "I will"? So just yesterday, our opponent told his supporters to go out and argue. He wanted to rally them, saying, argue with those who disagree with him, and he told them to get in your face. And you know, that doesn't sound like the politics of hope or the politics of change to me. It sounds like the worst of politics, politics as usual. Yesterday, then, when some protesters at a rally tried to do exactly what Senator Obama told them to do, John McCain said to them as they were protesting, and he said, "The one thing that Americans want us to do is stop yelling at each other." And that is leadership. That is leadership, my friends. The second thing I'll be leading in a McCain-Palin administration is the mission of energy independence. Drill, baby, drill. Yes. Here in Minnesota, those high gas prices, it's making a full tank at the pump feel like a luxury, and that's nonsense. The cost of living is going up. The cost of groceries is going up. Everything's going up. The value of your paycheck, though, is going down, and that's all because of energy costs. And people are blaming Washington for doing next to nothing on this one, and they've got that right. Our opponent says that he wants to help Americans who are struggling with high energy costs, but time and time and time again, he's sided with special interests and come out against the solutions that would help Americans heat their homes and fuel up their tanks and pay their energy bills. And maybe if he had been the governor of an energy-rich state, maybe he'd get it. And maybe maybe if he'd been on the front lines of securing our nation and securing our nation's energy independence, then he'd understand. As governor of Alaska, I've overseen a very large portion of the U.S. domestic production of oil. Through a lot of competition and a lot of hard work, what we recently achieved in a bipartisan effort was agreements to build a nearly $40 billion natural gas pipeline to bring Alaska's natural gas to hungry markets like yours here in Minnesota. I know what works on this. What we need is American energy sources brought to you by American ingenuity and produced by American workers. as Vice President, I will help John McCain expand our use of alternative fuels, and we're going to expand the use of nuclear energy also. And America, we will drill now to make this nation energy independent. Finally, friends, helping families who have children with special needs, it's always been very near and dear to my heart. 4 months ago, when our perfectly beautiful baby boy was born, Trig helped us understand even more fully. We joined many American families that know that some of life's greatest joys sometimes come with unique challenges. As governor, I've sought more funding for students with special needs. And as Vice President, I'm going to make sure those children and their families have a friend and an advocate in the White House. That is because John McCain and I share a vision of an America where government serves the people, and an America where every child is cherished and provided opportunity. It is such a privilege to be John McCain's running mate, and to serve beside him as Vice President of the United States will be the highest and most humbling of honors. You know, our opponents, they've been going on a lot lately about how they'll always fight for you. And since my running mate won't say this on his own behalf, I'm going to say it for him. There is only one man in this election who has ever really fought for you. Great man in this race, and the only man ready to serve as our 44th president. And I am honored to introduce to you my running mate, my friend, the next president of the United States of America.